If you can't measure it, they won't value it. That project you crushed, that team you held together, that workflow you improved, if you don't qualify it, it didn't happen. At least not in the eyes of your leadership. You're not invisible. You just haven't been tracking your wins the right way. And you win by validating. You win by showing numbers no one can deny. If you are in corporate and you're still saying, I'm not sure how I impact the business, this video, my darling, is your wake up call and your step by step guide to learn how to quantify your value and your impact to your organization. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly how you are going to quantify that impact. And even if you're new to corporate, even if you've never seen a KPI in your life, this video is going to give you tactical numbers backed guide to help you finally own your value with receipts. So here is what we're covering today. We're covering the 5 things you need to understand and apply if you want to prove your worth in corporate America. By the end of this video, you will stop second guessing your worth and start showing it. You'll know exactly how to calculate your impact and articulate it in a way that gets you promoted, that gets you recognized, and honey, that gets you paid what you're worth. So no more hoping someone else notice you. You, my darling, will make them notice with proof. If you're ready to stop second guessing your value and start tracking it like a power player you are, please hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, because this conversation is one that you do not want to miss. Welcome to Lessons Lived, everybody. I am Nandy, and if you're new here, I'm so glad you found this space. Ours is a community of ambitious women who take action. We don't just learn, we live our lessons. We leverage our full-time jobs to build scalable businesses because we know that wealth isn't an escape plan, it's a power move. Your 9 to 5 is a launch pad, not a limitation. For the women who are ready to turn their careers into capital, their expertise into income, and their business into legacy, this is the right place for you. Now, let's get to the issue at hand here. Starting a career in corporate America is overwhelming, especially when you're trying to understand how your work contributes to your company's overall success. And many employees, including myself, have struggled to articulate our value. And this can really hinder your career growth. The key to overcoming this challenge is by learning how to measure and communicate your impact effectively. This video will break down actionable steps that would help you identify key performance indicators that would help you track your contribution and translate your soft skills into measurable results. We're going to keep it very simple. I have a 5-step plan to help you get there. Step number 1, I want you to really understand your role in the bigger picture of where your company wants to go. If you work in corporate America or if you work in a good organization that has this structure, most likely there are bigger company goals, right? So you often have the company, you have your function, let's say you are R&D. Inside of R&D, there are many different departments. So you need to understand not just your particular department's goals, you need to understand your goal, you need to understand the department goals, you need to understand your function's goal, then you need to understand the company's goals. I know it's a little bit overwhelming because it's layer upon layer upon layers. But every job exists for a reason. Your role, no matter how entry level, contributes to the company's financial health. It contributes to its efficiency, or it contributes to customer satisfaction. In order for you to quantify your impact, you really want to be starting by asking yourself, how does my work align with the company's goal? What metrics does my manager or leadership team care about? This is really important. You always get lots of goals. Some of those goals are like, meh, it's a safety goal. Now, I'm not saying that a safety goal is not important, but often that goal is showing into your goals, but there are certain goals that your manager, your leadership team really, really care about. You need to figure out what that is. And it's okay for you to schedule a meeting with that member of leadership. Ask your boss, hey, can I schedule a meeting with EVP, right? Or a chief X, Y, and Z officer, even if it's just 10 minutes, and ask them what matters most to you. Listen to the subtle answers and take really detailed questions that will go deeper into the heart of the matter. Right? You also need to understand, how does my department contribute to the company's revenue or cost saving? This is really important. You have layers upon layers upon layers. Corporate America is about two things: revenue or cost savings. If they're saving money, they're making more money. If they're making money, they're making more money. Okay? So for example, if you work in customer service, your impact might be measured by customer retention rates. It could also be measured by resolution time or by a customer satisfaction score. If you work in operations, your impact might be tracked by cost savings, process improvements, or efficiencies gained. If, like me, you work in sales, your impact is directly tied to the revenue growth and the number of deals you've closed. Once you understand those connections, you can move to the next step, which is measuring them. So step 2, you need to identify your key performance indicators, or KPIs. KPIs are measurable values that indicate how well an individual or a company is achieving business objectives. Some common KPIs to think about is 1, revenue growth. If you're in sales, if you're in marketing, if you're in business development, which is what I'm in business development, not necessarily in sales, but that's what most people associate with business development, right? Even though we're different. Back to the conversation at hand. You need to be tracking the number of leads you are generating or campaigns that resulted in increase in sales. This is really important. For a lot of salespeople, often they're just looking at the opportunity pipeline, the closed opportunities, and the sales numbers. But there are other ways that you can quantify your impact to the organization, because sometimes a lot of things like estimated sales at the end of the year is outside of your circle of influence. Crazy things may happen that will make that your sales are lower. But if in other metrics, like lead generation, campaigns that resulted in increase in X, Y, and Z, increase in sample requests, etc., you will be able to track that as a metric and still show that you are impacting the business. So that was revenue growth. Now let's talk about efficiency metrics. If your role involves operations, project management, tracking time saved, cost reduction, or process improvement is going to be critical for you. So you really need to be watching those numbers closely and trying to understand how you are impacting those numbers so you can be able to speak directly to how you are impacting those parameters. Customer satisfaction. If you interact with customers, you need to measure response time, feedback scores, or client retention rates. Make sure you clearly understand how the things you're doing on a weekly, monthly, quarterly basis are tying in to those key metrics. Productivity metrics. You need to be tracking the number of tasks you've completed, the number of projects you've delivered, or improvements you've made to a specific time frame. This is really important, right? When I was a scientist, we had a project where we needed to work on preservation. And I worked on this preservative project for a long time. And that preservative project, because of how I structured it, it ended up saving us a lot of time. Instead of taking like 6 weeks to complete something, we were able to now complete it in 2 weeks. And for a very long, I was just like, oh, it was just a random little project. Then I sat down with my business coach and he was like, no. This is valuable. We're adding it to your resume. We're adding it to your end year report, right? So I didn't even know that that was something I could measure and track, right? Because I didn't have the tools that I now have that I'm teaching you. You need to really take this seriously and be very cognizant of how your role specifically is impacting those metrics. And if you're still struggling to figure out how you are impacting those metrics, ask your boss. They will be impressed by your initiative. If you're struggling with the calculations, there is a lot of content that you can get online that would help you specifically calculate different types of KPIs. But I'm going to give you a quick example. We'll see how this is going to work with me talking you through it. So for example, customer retention rates. A lot of people in customer service don't take the time to really articulate the value that they bring because most of the time they're not taking seriously their impact to the organization. But that will not be you, okay? Because today I'm going to give you a formula of how you can calculate retention rate. So for example, number of customers at the end of a period. The end of a period could be a week. The end of a period could be a month. The end of a period could be a quarter, right? So you would take that and then you would divide it by the number of customers at the start of a period. Then you will multiply that by 100, and that is your customer retention rate. For example, if you started with 1,000 customers and you gained 200 new ones, and you ended with 1,100 customers, your retention rate is going to be 1,100 minus the 200 customers you've gained, right? So 1,100 minus 200 is going to be about 900. And then you would divide that by 1,000 customers, which is the number of customers you started with, right? Then you will multiply that by 100. That gives you a 90% customer retention rate. Now it's up to your boss to determine maybe 90% is not good enough. Maybe for your organization, they'd like for it to be 95%. But this right here gives you a real metric that you're working towards, right? Now you know, okay, at 90% I'm winning, or at 90% I'm not doing so good. Next month, I want to have a 95 or 96 retention rate. It gives you something to work towards. It gives you focus. Efficiency savings. If you automated a manual task that took 5 hours per week, now it only takes you 1 hour. You've saved the company 4 hours per week or 280 hours per year. Assuming 52 weeks, if the average employee's salary is $30 an hour, your automation has saved the company $6,240 per year, right? Because that will be 208 hours times $30 per hour. That is measurable. That is quantifiable. Now, honey, you are talking the language of business, and the people at the top will see you as somebody who is serious, somebody who is worth promoting, somebody they have to be watching. Step number 3, I want you to track your contribution regularly. You need to have a brag book, a success and win journal. I'm going to link a video up here that will teach you how to track your win. It's really important that you are keeping a record of your achievements. This will help you showcase your value during performance reviews or when you are seeking a promotion. So every single week, what I want you to do is to go into your Outlook work calendar. Outlook is what most people use. If you don't use Outlook, pick whatever work calendar you use. And I want you to schedule 15 minutes every week where you will be tracking all of your wins for that week. Okay? And of course, watch my wins video so that you can learn more on how to specifically do this. So you will be maintaining a work journal where you're documenting your daily task, your successful projects, and any positive feedback you get. Not everything you track is going to be quantifiable, but those positive feedbacks are also a great thing to show to your boss. Hey, throughout the year, I received 30 X, Y, and Z feedback from X, Y, and Z different people, right? Because it shows you work well as a team, it shows your contribution, and it shows your impact to the department and to the organization at large. I want you to leverage companies' tools. Many companies use project management tools and analytical tools. Now, I want you to learn how to extract data relevant to your work. If you don't know how to do it, ask somebody to help you. There are people in the organization that are more than happy to help you. My job in business development when I first started was highly technical, right? So my job was to learn the science, take it back to the customers, show the customers how I was doing. I was new to the commercial space, so I really didn't know how to read the numbers, right? That were dictating my success. So I actually reached out to our assistant chief financial officer, and I don't remember his title, but I knew it was up there. I think it was like VP of finance. Why did I say assistant chief financial officer? Woo, my brain is dead. I reached out to our VP of finance, and he was really sweet and kind. As high up as he was able to sit down with me and teach me my numbers and how I was tracking. I was then able to take that and keep up with it so that I really understood how the things that I was doing was really impacting the numbers in the organization. This was a smaller company, so the VP had the time to meet with me. In my current company, I don't even know who the VP of finance is. But there are plenty of people that I can reach out to in product management, in other departments who will be more than happy to help me. I want you to seek feedback. Regularly ask your manager for input on your performance. I'm lucky enough to have a manager who's constantly giving me feedback, telling me I'm doing great, giving me insight on how I should do better. But I've only been with the company for a short period of time. But if you have a manager who is not really giving you indications of how you're doing, you need to ask for that genuine feedback. You need to get insight from them so that you can refine your impact on the organization. Those were all ways that you can begin to track your contribution regularly. Step number 4, I want you to translate your soft skills into measurable results. This one is a hard one for a lot of us because it's very easy to see our soft skills as just a competency thing, right? But your soft skills do have some sort of measurable impact on the organization. So for example, soft skills like communication, leadership, teamwork are crucial, but often, they are hard to quantify. Here are some ways that you can actually measure some of these soft skills. You can track the number of reports you've generated, presentations you've delivered, and team meetings you've led. So in your organization, you need to be volunteering to make presentation, to lead team meetings, etc. because this is going to be part of your metrics. So for example, you led 10 team meetings in Q1. You improved cross-team collaboration and reduced project delays by X amount, right? For leadership, note instances where you mentored a colleague or you led a project or you proposed a process improvement that was actually implemented by your organization. So an example here would be trained X number of employees, reducing the onboarding time from 3 months to 1.5 months. You see, right? We are taking things that are, and we're quantifying them. And I also want to be able to show you that the work you are doing in your company is quantifiable. Corporate America doesn't have the time to teach you how to make the case for them to give you more money. So that's why none of these things will be taught in corporate America. You have to come here for us to empower you with all of this knowledge, because corporate is not giving to you. And why should they? Because you empowered with this knowledge will be asking them for more money. Now let's talk about problem solving skills. You can document challenges you resolved, including cost savings and efficiency improvement, or team conflicts you've successfully managed. I worked one time in a lab that had so much friction, it was ridiculous. I wish then I had known that this could be a metric, because Lord, I could have gotten a promotion just by all of the conflict resolution I managed. A great example here is you redesign workflows to eliminate redundant steps, cutting project completion time by X percentage, right? And the way you get the percentage is by, well, before when we did this project, it took us 8 hours. This time when we did it, it only took us 6 hours, right? You divide 6 by 8, whatever you get, you multiply by 100, that's your percentage. Okay, so your soft skills, the things you think are not quantifiable, we can find a way to quantify them. And also now we have amazing tools. ChatGPT, I'll be saying it all day. ChatGPT that, ChatGPT that. I don't want you to sleep on ChatGPT. It's a great tool that you can use to leverage and build your metrics journal. Step number 5, I now want you to communicate your impact effectively. That journal you're recording all of your successes in doesn't matter, and it doesn't mean anything if you cannot articulate what is in the journal. Once you have the data, presenting that data in a compelling way is going to be critical. I want you to use these techniques that would help you effectively communicate that data. Use numbers. Instead of saying improved efficiency, say, I reduce processing time by X% by streamlining workflow. I did this, which had this impact that is quantifiable by doing X. Use that model. Tell a story. Provide context. Describe the challenge. Describe your action and the measurable result you got from that action. You need to be tying everything to a business goal. Align your achievements with the company's objective to show your strategic contribution. This is really important. A lot of people in corporate America are very tunnel vision. They care about money. They care about how you're impacting the bottom line. So you need to always be showing them that I did X amount of work that impacted the business in this strategic way that aligns with our company's goals. Here are some examples. Before, I helped improve the onboarding process. Here is how we are going to rephrase that. I redesigned the onboarding process, reducing average training time from 6 weeks to 4 weeks, saving the company an estimated $5,000 per new hire. Ladies, I want you to be bold. I want you to stop playing small. Take this knowledge and please use it. It's going to be difficult. It's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel off. But As you keep practicing this skill set, I promise you, it will make a big difference in your overall perception in your organization. And I promise you that quantifying your impact at work isn't just about tracking numbers. It's about proving your value in a way that drives your career growth. By identifying relevant KPIs, keeping a record of all of your achievements, and effectively communicating those results, you can confidently demonstrate to your boss, your boss's boss, your boss's boss's boss, your worth and your position for success in that company. If this video gave you clarity, please share it with a friend or a coworker who needs to hear it too. Don't keep the wins to yourself. And also make sure to subscribe for more no fluff strategies on building wealth, owning your value, and creating real freedom from your 9 to 5. Remember, this channel, we are building up our career. We are doing all of this because we are leveraging our careers to build scalable side businesses. If you are serious about leveraging your career to build something bigger, join the Lessons Lived community. We're building legacies together, my darling, one smart move at a time. I will see you, my darlings, in the next video.